Environment and Agriculture, to which was referred Senate Bill 13, an act declaring the Chinook the state dog of New Hampshire. Having considered the same, report the same, with the recommendation that the bill ought to pass. Representative Susan E. Wiley for the committee. The question before the House is on the adoption of the committee report of ought to pass on Senate Bill 13. The chair recognizes the member from Center Sandwich, Representative Wiley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon, honorable representatives, honorable guests, and honorable students. It's wonderful to be able to deliver the committee report from Environment and Agriculture. We're asking this Senate Bill 13 be ought to pass. One of the privileges that I have had is to live in a place in Carroll County where Mr. Arthur Walden started an adventure when he said, we really need to have a dog that is strong and fast and balanced and is able to live and work in the snow. He had quite an adventuresome life. He went to Antarctica. He spent a lot of time in Alaska, and he knew exactly what he wanted. He crossed a husky with a farm dog that was hard St. Bernard, and videoed and got it right. So we are here today to ask you to join with us in a recommendation that ought to pass this bill. I'll end by saying a dog has been known as being a man's best friend. We all need to have that.
The question before the House is on the adoption of the committee report of ought to pass on Senate Bill 13. The chair recognizes the member from Bedford, Representative Spalding.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and fellow colleagues of the House. I also stand in support of Senate Bill 13. I represent the town of Bedford and the students and staff from Reggio Middle School in Bedford who are with us in the gallery today to witness this historic event. A small group of students took on this project of naming the Chinook the state dog of New Hampshire. They're the ones who did the research on the history of the breed. They also learned about the legislative process. They successfully petitioned Representative John Graham and I from Bedford to sponsor the legislation in the House. Then they practiced their public speaking skills by presenting testimony in both the Senate and the House committees. So they have pretty much done all of the hard work, and I applaud them for their efforts. It was truly very, very well done. So I ask all of my fellow colleagues to please vote yes on the Chinook as the state dog. Thank you.
The question before the House is on the adoption of the committee report of ought to pass on Senate Bill 13. Are you ready for the question? A division has been requested. Will members please take their seats? This will be a division vote. And members should remember and have it all ready to turn on your keys. The chair recognizes Representative Webb for a parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if when you look at those faces out there, you don't think this is the right thing to do, or if you believe that they did their homework, those students, and this is the dog that needs to represent New Hampshire, would you not join me in pushing the green button? Thank you.
The question before the House is on the adoption of the committee report of ought to pass on Senate Bill 13. If you're in favor, you'll be pressing the green button. If you're opposed, you'll be pressing the red button. Voting stations are open for 30 seconds. and 3 in the negative. The committee report is adopted.
There you go, guys. The state
What do you think, Mackie? What do you think?
In fact, one of the saviors of the breed back in the early '80s also lives out there, just outside of Dayton as well. The Walperts. They took
Now that name sounds familiar to me.
Neil and Mara. They took 2 or 3 of the original 11 that were left in 1980 and took them home. They got spread. They spread out the 11 across the country, and Neil and Mara took a portion of them. That's right.
Yeah.
So we are hungry.
Take care, guys.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Just send Ben an email. Nice meeting you.
See you guys.